Pancreatic cancer, it's one of the toughest challenges in medicine, and that's mostly because its warning signs are so easy to miss until it's too late. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 8 of those hidden signs.
Okay, let's start with a question that might just stop you in your tracks. What if I told you there's a disease that claims more lives every single year than breast cancer, but gets way less attention? That silent killer is pancreatic cancer. So, why is that?
And a huge part of the answer comes down to this one number, 11%. That's the 5-year survival rate. I mean, it's a shockingly low number, right? And a big reason for that is that most people just don't recognize the symptoms until the disease is already in its late stages.
But here's the thing, and this is so important. The warning signs are there. They're often showing up months before someone even gets a diagnosis. The problem is they're just hiding in plain sight, super easy to mistake for something minor. And that's exactly what we're here to do today, to bring these signs out into the open.
All right, first up, the silent shocking disease. To really get why this is so tricky, we've got to talk about the pancreas itself. What it is and where it's hiding.
So your pancreas, it's about the size of your hand, and it's working 24/7 behind the scenes, making hormones and enzymes we absolutely need. But look at its location. It's tucked way deep inside your abdomen. That makes it incredibly difficult for a doctor to feel or examine during a normal checkup. And that right there is why we can't just rely on physical exams. It's why learning to listen to your body's own signals is just, it's absolutely critical.
Okay, Section 2, Jaundice-related clues. Now let's dive into the first batch of signs. These are all clues related to something called jaundice, which can pop up when a tumor starts getting in the way of your bile duct.
We're looking at 2 big red flags here. The first is a really noticeable change in the color of your urine, and the second is something your doctor would spot, a swollen gallbladder or liver. And these 2 things, they're not random. They're actually connected by the exact same underlying problem.
And just listen to how specific this is. We're not talking about your pee just being a little dark because you're dehydrated. No, this is a consistent, dark brown, almost like cola or a really strong tea. It's one of those things that once you hear it, you can't forget it. A really vivid warning sign.
So what's actually happening inside your body to cause this? Well, it's kind of like a 3-step chain reaction. First, a tumor grows and starts blocking the bile duct. That causes this yellow stuff called bilirubin to build up in your blood. And since it can't get out the normal way, your body has to find another exit, and it pushes it out through your urine, which is what causes that crazy color change.
All right, moving on to Section 3, pain and digestive distress. Now we're talking about symptoms you can actually feel, a very specific kind of pain, and a whole group of digestive problems that are so often brushed off as nothing. And you really have to know the difference here. Think about it. A normal stomach ache is usually sharp cramps that come and go, but the pain from pancreatic cancer, it's different. It's more of a dull, constant, gnawing ache deep in your upper belly. It often feels like it's spreading around to your back. And here's the dead giveaway. It often feels worse right after you eat or when you lie down. And the cancer messes with your digestion in a few other ways too. The tumor can literally press on your stomach, which makes you feel totally full after just a couple of bites of food. It also blocks those crucial digestive enzymes the pancreas makes. That can lead to constant bloating and some really obvious changes in your bathroom habits. We're talking pale, greasy stools that smell awful, which is literally a sign that your body isn't breaking down fat the way it should.
Okay, Section 4 is what we're calling body-wide alarms. Let's zoom out a bit, because this disease doesn't just stay put. It can set off alarms all over your body.
These are signs that show up all over your body, signaling that something is seriously wrong. For reasons we don't totally get, this cancer can make your blood clot more easily. You might get fevers and chills that keep coming back. And then there's the fatigue. A deep, crushing exhaustion that sleep doesn't touch. And you might notice you're losing weight without even trying.
I really want to pause on this one for a second, because it's so important. A blood clot in your leg, a DVT, is not a small thing. It can break loose, travel up to your lungs, and cause something called a pulmonary embolism. And that is a full-blown, life-threatening emergency. It's hands down one of the most dangerous and also one of the most overlooked signs of all. All right, so we've gone through a lot of pretty scary symptoms. Let's shift gears now to the most important part of this whole thing, how knowing about these signs can actually change everything.
And that really brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? It's easy to hear this list and just feel overwhelmed.
But seriously, can putting these pieces together, these little clues that seem so random, can it actually lead to catching this thing early when the odds are so much better?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And look, that's not just me being optimistic. It's backed by some really powerful data from recent research at Johns Hopkins.
This is the number you need to see, 68%. That's how much more likely you are to get an early diagnosis if you connect the dots between just 3 different symptoms. It's proof positive that looking for a pattern, not just a single symptom, is our single best weapon against this disease.
Okay, so let's run through them one last time. The 8 signs you absolutely need to remember. That dark, cola-colored pee, a swollen gallbladder or liver, that specific dull pain in your belly or back, constant gas or bloating, digestive issues like those pale, greasy stools, unexplained blood clots, fevers and shivering that keep coming back, and finally, that overwhelming fatigue or weakness. Remember, any one of these on its own, yeah, it's easy to blow it off. But when you see them together, they're telling you a story you have to listen to.
And that really brings us to the final, most important takeaway here. These aren't loud, dramatic, movie-like symptoms. They're quiet whispers. They're persistent little signals from your body. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Are you really listening to what your body is trying to tell you? Because knowing what to listen for is the first and most powerful step you can take.